So welcome back to Teaching Jobs Korea, and today we're here in the location of Gangnam, Seoul, which is a very nice location to live and work in, and we're here at a hagwon called KIVYS English Academy, which is a great school that I've been working with for many years, and it's a school that has established a very strong foundation in this area, and the school provides a great working location, an organized managing staff, and a great learning program for the kids. And today joining us is teacher Zach and teacher Charlotte, who's going to be giving us some information about the school's program, curriculum, and working environment, and also sharing their experience about working and living in South Korea as well. So Zach and Charlotte, it's a pleasure to meet both of you, and thank you for taking the time. I know that we're kind of at the end of the day right now, so we'll try to make it as fast as possible.
Yeah, no worries. I'm glad to be here.
I guess just to break the ice, could you give us a short, brief background about where you came from, how long you've been in Korea for?
Yeah, so I'm from America, Texas specifically, and I've been in Korea for almost 3 years now, and all 3 years here at KIVYS.
I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I've been here for 4 years almost, 3 years at KIVYS.
I guess when you first came out here, did you have the intention to stay here for so long?
Well, at first, it was something I did want to do for years back home when I was in university. I wanted to experience living in South Korea and in Seoul. It was something I wanted to do, and COVID happened, so also it was just, I was waiting for graduating and something I wanted to try after. I didn't know I would be here for 4 years and longer.
Right.
I thought it was something maybe I would try for a year, but I've really enjoyed my experience.
Is it a very different pace of things compared to Toronto? Because I know Toronto's a big city, right? So
yeah,
it's city life too.
I came outside in the suburbs, but I do feel like life here has been very fast paced. I was way younger when I moved here, and then suddenly I'm 26 years old now, and it's just life has been moving so fast, but I've been very grateful to be living in South Korea.
That's good. What about you, Zach? I guess, did you intend to stay here that long?
It's a great question. Yeah, I don't think I really had a set plan. I just wanted to kind of see what it was like, go on a new adventure. I never lived abroad before, so I just wanted to see what it was like to kind of immerse myself in another culture. And I liked it to stay long enough for this long.
Because I know Texas is spread out, but it's also a big city too, right?
Yeah, so I'm from Austin, which is the capital of Texas. So it's pretty big enough city, not anywhere near as big as Seoul, of course, but not a crazy change.
They say the Seoul is the New York of Korea, right? Would you say, have you been to New York?
Yeah.
Would you say it's pretty comparable?
Yeah, I would say so in some ways. Of course, New York is a lot more diverse and different cultures and things like that. But it's in terms of the pace and just how career oriented everyone is and the hustle and bustle, I would think.
I like to refer to it as a New York without the crime. And better transportation system setup, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess, the hagwon of KIVYS English Academy, right? It's, from my understanding of the school, it's a very good school. Not just any teacher could match well here, right? And I think it's a good school for teachers coming in with some experience that have a good background of English. I guess what would be the basic focus of this program here at KIVYS?
I feel even every hagwon is focused on we want to push English on the kids, but I feel we also at KIVYS we have a really good pace with teaching the kids English and dedication for wanting them to learn well. I feel everyone here who works here really does have a passion for teaching the children and getting to know them well and wanting them to succeed in their learning and learn in a healthy environment. I feel we are very focused and work hard together. Everyone works pretty well together to make sure all the students are doing well and everyone's happy and learning and having fun when they're learning.
The primary age group of this campus also is mainly focused on just kinder.
Yeah, 5 to 7 years old. Yeah.
5 to 7. And what's unique about this position too, compared to other hagwons, I think, is that don't you get your own class? You're a homeroom teacher to a certain age group, right? When they say that you're a homeroom teacher, does that mean that you're teaching that age group throughout the whole day here?
Yeah, say you have your one group of kids, and that's your kids for the whole year, the whole day, all year long.
Just all 7-year-olds.
Right.
Or 6. You're with the 7.
I'm 7s, yeah.
5-year-olds.
Right. You got the
I
tough ones. There's a slight difference between 5-year-olds and 7-year-olds, right? I think the 7-year-olds, there's a little bit more comprehension that they're able to understand, and the interaction is a little slightly mature compared to the 5-year-olds. How do you get over the hurdle when you interact with the student and they're stuck?
Yeah, so I think that happens a lot. We throw a lot at these kids. It's a pretty strict curriculum. Sometimes, they have tough days where things are a little bit more difficult, but ultimately it's just about having patience, listening to their needs. Fortunately, we do have really qualified co-teachers here that really help us out. A student struggling particularly with something that I might be having difficulty difficulty explaining, our co-teachers can really back us up. So it's a really good, solid staff, all the way from co-teachers all the way up to management.
Give me like a basic layout of a day. Like how many classes are you teaching? And also, do you get enough time to prepare for your classes?
Yeah, so I think we have, maybe 7 classes each day.
Yeah.
It varies from, for the 7-year-olds, obviously it's gonna be a lot different. We're really focused on preparing them for elementary school, but so it's a little bit more language intensive in terms of like writing classes, reading novels, things like that. And then in terms of the preparation, like we get time here and there. A lot of it is having that kind of motivation internally to, hey, I want to take this home and get ready to, for the next day to make sure that the kids have the best experience and are put in a position to succeed.
Charlotte, did you have any experience like teaching or working with kids before you actually came out to Korea and started teaching?
I worked in summer camps back home in Canada. I worked for like YMCA and with like children for like years back home when I was like a teenager and then in early adulthood. So I was working with children for like a long time. I used to be in like higher position where I was like in charge of like counselors. So I had a lot of like knowledge about how it should be with like certain age groups and how to teach specific children. And like also it's very important to understand different children's like needs. Like some kids learn different than others. So we always have to, with like individual kids, always learn about them. How do they work well in a classroom setting? How are they gonna do the schedule every day? It's very important to focus on how each kid can learn so they can learn well during the day.
Right, and then also this area is like Hachido basically, right?
Yeah, it's very close.
Very high paced. There's literally like 2 other Hagwons right next to each other.
I think there's one like 2 doors down.
Right. So it's a very competitive market, and I think the expectations of parents are a little bit higher on the bar compared to other areas, right?
Yeah.
And it's all in the name too. Like it's kids IVs, right? So what we're trying to do is really set a strong foundation so that when they go off to elementary school, they can continue to build on that English prowess that they've developed here, and middle school, high school, all the way to hopefully, that's what the parents are expecting, that this is going to set the foundation for them to be able to study at even higher level institutions in America when they decide to go to college.
I think another thing when you're teaching kinder, and I think that what kind of needs to be adapted is that just kind of simplifying how you like talk to kids.
Yeah.
Like how you use your vocabulary, because kids that age, they tend to mimic, so you kind of have to keep it, at least the vocabulary, within like a level or 2 higher than what they're actually at.
I feel like, because I teach like the 5-year-olds, so they're the youngest age group, they come in and they don't have any English. Sometimes some of them do have like some English, like hello, like how are you? But now at this point in the year, I only speak to them in English because we just built up over the whole year, just consistent talking with them and talking in like language that they understand. So like at the beginning, I do have to like understand their Korean so that I could like translate it back to them, like, oh, we can say this. And it's so important to just always be listening to them, and brains are like a sponge, so they're like retaining everything you tell them, right? So they're like always learning new things every day. So it's always very important to be communicating constantly with them when they're asking questions.
Do you think you've learned a lot from your students too, just teaching them for X amount of years?
Yeah. Like I've had only 5-year-old classes at KIVYS, so like all 3 years with all my kids, I've learned so much from them too. Like even like Korean I've learned from them, because at the beginning they only speak to me in Korean and I speak back to them in English, so I'm learning from them as well at the beginning, but yeah, it's very important.
I guess what would be like a very important thing to keep in mind when you are teaching like the kinder age kids, that maybe someone new, and some people just come out here and it's like, oh yeah, I have experience working, like playing with my nephews. I love my nephews and nieces, but when they come out here now, it's like other people's kids, right? I guess what would be one thing that they should keep in mind if they are interested in like jumping into the kinder programs?
Yeah, I think, it's all about balance is what I would say. Like I said, we have a pretty rigorous academic kind of curriculum, but we also want to balance that with fun and play and, a little bit of relaxation and rest and times. So I think ultimately, like there's no perfect teacher. Like you're all going to have your different styles and things, but ultimately you want to make sure the kids enjoy coming to school at the end of the day. They're going to learn. It's going to take time. Some students will learn faster than others, but they'll all get there. They'll all finish the race. So you really just want to make sure they enjoy their time while they're here.
And then KIVYS is not like a big franchise school, right? This is the only campus of KIVYS. It's a nice building though. They have the whole building, the nice little play area on the first floor, and then also on the top floor they have like gymnasium or something.
Soccer field up there. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And the playroom they love.
In terms of like the interior too, it's very modern. I think they keep up to date on the modernness of, it's pretty well well on technology in
Yeah.
terms of like resources that they provide and materials, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if there's something that we don't have, it's not hard to ask, and they can usually back it up. Whatever we need, they'll make it happen.
One thing I got from the director here is he's very organized.
Yeah.
He's very direct too, right? But also being direct is also translate to at least having clarity on what the objective is,
Yes.
right? So I think that part of it is really good about the director. And then also the school. I guess, have you gotten good like support from the management staff in terms of resources and, you know, tips and just kind of support
Absolutely.
in terms
Yes.
of adjusting here too, right?
Oh yeah, everything that we've needed, like they've been here every step of the way. I didn't come from a teaching background. I was actually more in coaching youth basketball, but so I really didn't have a great idea of what I was doing in terms of the actual in the classroom type of stuff. And so it was a pretty sharp learning curve, but they were there for me every step of the way until they knew for a fact that I was up to their standard. And so I think they do that for every teacher here, regardless of your background. And like I said, if there's anything that you need, like it's an open door policy with Ms. Shana, Mr. Lee, all of management.
And then even the working hours, you know, most English academies, they usually have like a 9 to 6 working shift, right?
Right.
I know here, because it's more accommodating the kinder level, you do get off an earlier time. I'm pretty sure within that working time, it's jam-packed with, you know, things that you have to do, right? Like your duties of teaching, prepping, and then just chaos of kids, right? But I think when you get off at 4 o'clock or 4:30, you really have a good balance to be able to at least go home and try to recuperate for the half of the day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We do have like flexible hours because not everybody has the same like after school. So I do feel it's kind of nice that we all have like a different schedule at the end of the day. Like some days you can leave early, and then some days we have like after school, and it's like we have a lot of support with how our after schools go and our flexible hours. And I always feel that we do have like enough time to do like prep for the next day. If you feel you need to like stay a little bit later to get ready for the next day and make sure that you're ready for your kids to come. If you prep an activity, since I have 5-year-olds, sometimes I have to prep like little crafts or little extra like writing activities that we can do. I feel like you have to have like the motivation to make sure before you go home you have everything ready for them.
And then also like this position, I think most teachers stay for at least 2 years or more, right?
Yeah.
Also a good position where if you are at another academy, and then usually like 3 years is when a teacher hits plateau. They either are just so used to it or they're salary capped, right, at other academies. I know here there's a lot of teachers that transition on that period to extend it for another 3 years. And in order for that to be feasible, the salary base has to be very competitive, right? The benefits that are also provided and the system in which it operates has to be very good. I think KIVYS is one of those schools that actually provide that. I'm not trying to like sell the school, but I think just by looking at the teachers that I've met and then also the teachers that I placed here, I have gotten that impression. Would you agree?
Yeah, I do agree.
You've been here for what, 4 years?
Yeah, I signed for my 4th year at the school, so.
What about the housing? Because I know in Seoul, it's very hard to find housing like right next to the school. So sometimes you're doing a little bit of commute. I guess, would you say the housing is within reasonable distance?
Yeah, it's like a 10 minute
10,
walk,
15
10 minute
minutes,
walk.
yeah.
And I think it's like a pretty good distance because it's also just, in this area too, there's a lot of public transportation if you do need it, because there's lots of 2 subway stations, lots of bus stops. So I feel like it's a very good spot to live in. We're very close to subway stations, not like too far, and then we're very close to the school, so it helps a lot with like getting to work.
And then also just living, I mean, this is like the best location in Seoul, right?
Yeah.
Like you're in the middle of the hustle and bustle. I guess, how is it with like life in Seoul?
Life in Seoul?
And how is it like adjusting to like the cultural difference? Because when you come in here, it's like a homogenous country, so everyone's Korean.
At the beginning, when I came here in like 2022, it was also in the middle of still a lot of like COVID rules. And during that time, there was not as much tourism still yet. So I came here when it was still just like in Seoul, you would see more Koreans rather than like foreigners. So now it's changed a lot because tourism has gone up in the past few years. But at the beginning, it was a bit more, I had a bit of culture shock sometimes trying to get used to. I also didn't live in a city like this big. Toronto's not this big, so I wasn't used to like the transportation system being so like huge and like wide, and how every district is like different. Every district has its own like quirks and like different ways that people live in each district. I find I previously lived in like Songpa, so then I came to Gangnam and it was even a little bit different.
Songpa has a little bit lesser traffic, so it's a little bit more slower pace.
Yeah.
It's considering that it's still a big city, right? I guess, have you done a lot of traveling in Korea, Zach?
I've done a little bit. Okay, yeah, I've been to Gangnam a few times, Gangwon-do. I always pronounce it wrong, but yeah, I've been around Gyeonggi-do as well. I've been down to Busan a couple times, Jeju, so.
But you've been pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, yeah, maybe there's a few other cities. Like I want to get down to Jeonju at some point.
The Hanok village. I was just there a couple weeks ago too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's kind of like a smaller version of like Insadong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone recommends
nice.
it to me, so I
mean, it's nice.
Yeah.
And it's good to travel over there too.
Yeah.
Have you done a lot of traveling, Charlotte?
Yeah, I also went to Jeonju during Chuseok holiday.
Oh, really?
And I did notice it was kind of like in Seoul too. I've been to Jeonju, I've been to Suwon, even though it's not that far. I've been to Gapyeong a few times, Busan maybe 4 times, Changwon, which is very far down, Jeju, and then also like traveling like around other areas outside of Korea.
If you go to Jeju, you have to rent a car, right? You know that? Did you know that you could, if you have a U.S. or a foreign driver's license, you can change that for a Korean driver's license, right?
I didn't know that going into it, and I wish I had known because that public transportation down there, it takes a long time to get anywhere.
You can't use it.
I had to take taxis
Right.
pretty
I
much
also
everywhere.
did taxis, but I don't have a license in Canada, so I
Yeah.
can't get a license here.
You just gotta go with someone that does.
I went with friends, but none of us had.
You could change it, and then
Kind
when
of
you leave the
licensing.
country, you could change it back, and they'll give you your license back.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So just kind of keep that in mind. Keep that in mind if you want to drive in Korea too, right? What about like the Korean people? Interacting with Korean people could be, I think, a little difficult in this horror area because everyone's so like impersonal, kind of in a hurry, right? Everyone, even if when you see people cross the street, they're just walking fast, right? Looking at their phone.
Yeah.
I guess, have you had a chance to like interact with a lot of Koreans? And I guess for the most part, has it been good interactions?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm more of an introvert, but I think the best way for me to have met people is through Korean co-teachers. Like that has been kind of my link into the outside Korean world. Fortunately, like we have some shared interests. Like a lot of the co-teachers here, surprisingly, are really into Korean baseball, and I like baseball too. And so like we'll go catch a couple games together, and that's another way that you can kind of meet new friends outside of your circle. But yeah, I think overall you're gonna have to put a lot more effort forth into making friends, especially Korean friends, as a foreigner than you otherwise would maybe in another country. But it's up to you. Like if you want to be introverted and hang out in cafes, there's plenty of those, plenty of opportunities to do that as well. But I think there are also opportunities to meet people, especially with co-teachers, and then also language exchanges, those things, they're everywhere. So
How many native teachers are in this campus?
was
14.
it 14, right?
14.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot
Yeah.
a lot of friends, right? I guess, what about like some Korean stereotypes, like the food being too sweet, or maybe the Korean standard of beauty out here, and like the trend, like the constant like change of trends?
Sometimes I do agree with the sweet one, but also personally, I'm not the biggest sweets person. So when it's a little bit more sweet than I feel like it should be, I'm like, but I'm also not a big sweets person. I do like more just like maybe spicy or just like mild food instead of like sweet or like salty. I prefer salty more than like sweet foods. But
What was like the most risky thing that you've tried?
risky?
Like taking a look at it and then like, but then you actually ate it, it wasn't actually that bad.
Maybe I'm not always the most adventurous sometimes with like eating food because I also don't eat too much. I don't eat seafood at all. So I did try something with seafood here, and then it was like spicy and then the seafood taste, and it was a bit risky for me. I haven't had it.
Have you tried tteokbokki?
Tteokbokki?
Yeah.
Well, I love tteokbokki.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because some people don't like it because of the texture. What about you, Zach?
Yeah, the most adventurous, one time I don't even know what it's called in Korean, but I was told it's like cow's blood. It was with, you know what I'm talking about?
Shinjiguk.
Yeah. I tried that.
It's like this block, right?
Yeah. It was like samgyeopsal or something, and then that was like one of the sides or appetizers. So I took a bite. Wasn't for me, but not hating on it.
But you tried it.
Yeah.
That's good. Obviously, the Korean barbecue is really good here too, right?
Love Korean barbecue.
And then on a final note, because I took a lot of your time, you gotta get home,
It's
right?
okay.
I guess if there was one solid advice that you can give to someone coming out new, right? What would be that one solid advice to kind of help them be a little bit more aware, and that way they can do better research and be aware of when they actually come out here?
I think something that is important, because we were talking about like cultural differences and culture shocks, to if you're coming here as a new teacher also as well, that teaching is going to be very different than like in America and in Canada, because also expectations are different at like English hagwons. It's very different than maybe like expectations at an elementary school in Canada. So expectations of parents and how the children learn is also going to be different. Culture-wise, how they learn and how we teach them is going to be different. So maybe to not feel too much pressure or put too much pressure on yourself, to just like, you know, come in with like confidence, like I can do it, and be able to, you know, build up the confidence to improve yourself, like not be too scared when you jump into Korea and you're like, oh no, everything's different, like everyone is different and everyone's different than me, and not being used to like maybe, especially like in Canada and the US where we're from, it's very diverse cultural wise, to be able to feel that, try to, you know, you're gonna adapt to your life, like not to put too much pressure on yourself, be like too anxious, because I feel like some people do come here and like in their first week they're like, I don't know if I can do it, it's so different. The city is very different than where you're from, and like teaching's so different. But I feel like if you tell yourself like you can do it and like feel that you're ready to try something new, jumping into something new, then you might love it and feel that you can stay longer or do well.
Definitely confidence in, you know, who you are, and then also just coming in here with a little bit of humbleness to be just open-minded to, you know, learn and observe. And I think you'll adjust to it very quickly. If you start bringing like everything that you're used to in the States or, you know, back west, and you apply it here, you'll never be happy, right?
Yeah, I even felt when I first went back home for like a break, I even got like my own culture shock back home, because everything was like moving fast when I was gone. So it was just, I had to adapt again, being like, oh, what's going on here? But yeah, it's like you're moving to a whole different continent usually, because everyone who's teaching English is coming from like the UK or Australia and like America and Canada. So you're moving to a whole different continent, you're flying across the world. Everything's gonna be different. You're going to change too. So it's very important to remember that.
I bet you changed a lot from when you came out here and then who you are today, right?
I used to be like, you know, like personality types. Before I came here, I was INFP. Now I'm an ENFP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, introvert to extrovert.
When I first came out to Korea, it was blood types.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What about you, Zach? What would be like a good advice for someone coming out just to get adjusted here?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put it in better words than you did, talking about, you know, being open-minded and confident and things like that. But, you know, I think it is what you make it. Ultimately, like how much you want to learn and grow, it's up to you. One thing I would say is try to take it seriously, especially the teaching stuff, because, you know, these parents are entrusting you with the responsibility of, you know, setting the foundation for their kids. And even if a lot of people that come to Korea, you know, they use the E2 visa as like a means just to come over here, have fun or whatever. But ultimately, like, this is a big deal. Like, you know, you're kind of shaping the future of Korea in some ways. So I think you definitely just take that into consideration. You can still obviously have a great time, you know, go out, have fun, meet new people, all that great stuff that comes with it. But it's just, don't forget that, you know, the parents are really trusting you to take good care of the kids.
Right, and I think anyone that's coming out for the first time too, there's only so much research and things that you can like find out before you come, right? There's always going to be that like 15 to 20% leap of faith. And I think you just gotta embrace it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time today, and then it was a pleasure talking to both of you. And thank you for joining us in our program today to learn about KIVYS English Academy, and we'll be back with more videos, and please make sure to subscribe and like.